Today, I'm day tripping with my buddy Bob DeWitt.
Hey,
Bob, we're in where?
Gladbrook, Iowa.
That is right, and we're standing in front of Matchstick Marvels, and we are going to go inside this building, and we're going to visit with an artist, sculptor, Patrick Acton, and we're going to see things that you're going to be just amazed. And I encourage you to come here in person because we're doing our best to give it justice.
And if you're a fan of Back to the Future, there's something special in here to see that won't be here much longer. So hope you enjoy this one.
Yes, and this episode is brought to you by Griner Auto Body of Washington, Iowa, using state-of-the-art techniques and decades of experience to get your car back on the road after an accident. Car Doctor of Washington, Iowa, no matter who Frankensteined it, they can fix and clean and customize it. McDonald Boneyard of Keota, Iowa, for all of your farm equipment and auto recycling needs. Hinshaw Trailer Sales of Richland, Iowa. You need a trailer? They've got your trailer, and they fix what they sell and don't in their full-time repair shop. Girling Repair of Winfield, Iowa. If your mower is dead, call Fred, your Husqvarna, Aaron's, and Gravely dealer. B&B Propane and the family of Jet Stops. And Blue Dog Lawn Care of Wayland, Iowa, for all of your residential and commercial lawn care needs. And you know what, Bob? When the snow starts flying, they take care of that too. And
It won't be long.
That's right. And they all present Southeast Iowa today. I'm John Bain, author of Christie's Journey, The Beat Goes On, and your host. Let's go inside and visit with Patrick. Well, Patrick, thank you so much for letting Bob and I visit you today at Matchstick Marvels here in Gladbrook, Iowa.
Sure, happy to have you.
We're so happy to be here, aren't we, Bob?
It's an amazing place. You're going to be amazed at what you see today.
It is. And we did a little, just to let the audience know, we did a little tour here before we started this recording, and I ran out of words to describe how incredible and awesome your matchstick sculptures are, or models, and there are things that are so famous. We're just right in the door here, and there's so much to see. Let's just start to your left, my right, Patrick. Tell us about this USS Iowa.
Well, the USS Iowa was, I think I built this in about 1998. Has about 170,000 matchsticks. Hopefully before the tour's over, you'll see I'm quite a ship person. I just really enjoy history, and a lot of the models, including this one, are all about American history. And so,
well, you're quite a historian, you're quite a ship person, you're quite an aeronautics person. I mean, there's planes on here, there's cannons. I mean, this is the real deal.
Yeah, it's one of my all-time favorite models, actually.
I can understand why. When did you build this?
I think it was 1998 that I built this.
1998. And explain to people why this is called the Matchstick Marvel Museum, because of what we're looking at here.
Well, I stole that phrase from an article that a woman wrote about me, and I just thought people do tend to come in and they're expecting little stick figures made out of matchsticks, and they marvel at this stuff, and I've said this before, it gives a person a big head to sit around and listen to what people have to say about this stuff.
Well, it's amazing. I mean, these are matchsticks, ladies and gentlemen. The wood that you see here, and I'm going to zoom in here on the side, and you can see those are matchsticks. It's beyond amazing to me. And how many matchsticks on this one?
I think this has about 170,000.
170,000.
So, yeah, not as many as some of the others, but obviously, this is not. I started this hobby in 1977, and this was, I had over 20 years of so. the initial models were not quite as elaborate as the USS Iowa. It was a learning process, and the more models I'd make, the better I'd get at figuring out techniques and stuff to get an accurate model made.
How does one realize one can do this?
Well, you know, one of the most common comments I hear is, "Oh, you must have the patience of Job." And I tell people, you don't know any redheaded Irish patient people. But this is just a passion. You know, it became a passion. I started this. It was a winter day. It was literally a blizzard. And I had nothing to do in the house. My wife was teaching school and she hadn't been let out yet. And I went to the grocery store, bought a box of matchsticks, cut the tips off, and made a little wooden church. And it was initially started out, it was just going to be something that I did to pass time. And obviously it's turned into a passion, and as I stated, the more models I'd make and the more history I'd read about it and see about, the more interest I had in building different things. Well, that expanded now to things I call sculpturing. I hopefully you'll get a picture of the bald eagle I made. I made a gunslinging cowboy. You know, it's not just all models of ships, trains, and planes.
Right.
I love machines. I love architecture, and I love anatomy and science and animals. So.
Well, I'm thinking when you first told me this, and you were inspired during a snowstorm. If you were living in Florida, we might not ever have all this.
That's very, very, very true. Very true. So
it's incredible. What do we have behind you here?
Well, this is a model of Terrace Hill, the governor's mansion in Iowa, and you know, it's very hard for me to recall when these different models were made and how many sticks with how many.
Sure.
But I think I made this in about 1995. I just, as I stated earlier, I love architecture, and I just thought this particular model, you know, I just love the Victorian.
And it's an incredible replica of history that's in our state, that's true to the state of Iowa, right here.
Yeah. And it was just something that always interested me. Mm-hmm. So,
you know, when the older I get, the more I think about how I classify different states in our union and what they're known for, and as compared to what, you know, people compare our state to or say about our state. Mm-hmm. People say we're flyover country. People say it's flat. People say there's nothing but corn. How wrong are they? I mean, I'm day tripping here with Bob DeWitt, and we've got examples inside of examples of how wrong those people are.
Well, you know, we opened the museum in 2003, and we've had people from every state in the country, and most all the European countries, many Asian countries, a few African countries, people here from Australia. So so that makes me really happy that people have taken enough interest to travel from all over the world to see this, or at least include it in their itinerary.
Exactly. Well, that is awesome. Let's wrap up this segment, and we'll go to a different section and show you folks a lot more. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, kids of all ages, if you've watched the movie Back to the Future, you recognize what I'm showing you right now. I mean, we have the town right here from the movie Back to the Future that Patrick has built. And Patrick, this, I understand, will be an exhibit for Ripley's Believe It or Not. And you have done several other exhibits for Ripley's. How does that come about?
Well, I have a relationship with Ripley's, believe it or not, going back to
I believe
the
it.
early 90s. And this is the most recent model that I built for them. They bought many of my models, and typically when I build something, it's one piece. You know, it's the Iowa, the ship, the USS Iowa, or the United States Capitol, or whatever.
Right.
Ripley's came to me this time and said, you know, we have a lot of your individual models. What we'd really like is a diorama of something. And we're thinking along movie lines. And so they gave me...
I got to interrupt. When I think of diorama, I think of little tiny towns, little Christmas settings or whatever.
Well, it may not be the appropriate
This
term.
is like diorama on steroids.
That may not be the right term, but they wanted more of a scene. And so they gave me a list of several movies that they were thinking that the theme could be based on. And I related to Back to the Future simply because I was a child in the 50s and 60s, and I grew up in a small town the local courthouse was in the middle of the square. So this just really appealed to me, and I thought I could do a realistic job.
Oh, you sure did do a realistic job.
So and I love the movie. I'm a big Back to the Future movie fan. But at any rate, it gave me a chance to
Did you have the soundtrack playing when you were working on this?
No, but I did refer to the movie more than once for different scenes. But
I mean, I can hear Huey Lewis singing right now.
But it has, I think, 6 different cars from the early to late 50s and the DeLorean.
Yes.
And you can't see it from here, but Marty's actually in there driving the DeLorean down the street.
Well, I'm going to zoom in on that and see how much of this we can see from here. There he is in there. That is incredible.
You better have a picture of Doc Brown hanging off the courthouse.
Oh, there he is. Look at that. Wow. Wow,
I'm
wow.
calling it the courthouse. I'll be chastised for that because it's the clock tower.
The clock tower. There you go. That is incredible. I run out of words. It's just amazing. Now, this alone, if folks want to see this in person right now here in Gladbrook.
Yeah, there's only about a month left because on or around October 1st, it will be moved to Ripley's, believe it or not. So if you want to see it, you're going to have to do it in the next 3-4 weeks.
And today, I believe, is August 28th.
Right.
So whenever you're watching this, folks, look at your calendar.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, you've got some controls here for different things.
Yeah, there's a lot of different... Ripley's likes exhibits that are interactive so people can play. So beginning about 10 years ago, most of the models I make have interactive features, or what I call interactive features. So in this example, some of these buildings are finished and we have like the record.
I'm going to come around this way.
Yeah, sure. We have like the record store. We have a diner.
Oh, yeah.
We got the Texaco gas station. All of these are finished inside.
Wow.
We got...
Look inside there, folks. I mean, you've got the car going up on the lift. You've got... There it goes down. Looks like an air compressor or something back there. There's a desk with drawers and everything.
But you know what people love is like the details with the gas pump. And
yes.
The oil cans. We've even got the little Pepsi Cola machine here. Tire rack.
That's incredible.
But it's the detail that kind of sets...
tires.
Yeah.
Out of Matchstick.
Yes. How do you make round tires out of straight matchsticks?
That's a trade secret.
Okay.
Practice. Yeah.
Now, we were talking off camera. There's a couple different types of wood that the matchsticks are made of.
Matchsticks are made either out of poplar or white aspen, and now it's pretty much poplar, and the sticks are only being made now in Indonesia and China. So the last matchstick factory in the United States closed in 2017, and that was in Cloquet, Minnesota. So they are a thing of the past. I have no access to buy bulk matchsticks. For 10 years, I would cut the tips off the matchsticks from the grocery store and build models.
Wow.
And those models measured in inches and had a few hundred or maybe a few thousand sticks in them. In somewhere around 1987 or 8, I began buying the matchsticks in bulk before the sulfur tip was added.
Okay.
And what happened then, they are truly matchsticks, but that allowed me, handling each stick off the grocery shelf and cutting the tips off was a very tedious process.
And time consuming.
Oh, time consuming, and it was not fun. And I would have probably given that up. And my wife said, well, why don't you just write the company and see if you can get the sticks? And I said, honey, they are not going to send matchsticks to some wacko out in the cornfields of Iowa to build models. But she finally talked me into it. So I sent this letter in at that time to Ohio Blue Tip Match Company. And within a very few days, I got a mimeographed paperback with amounts and prices. So they had been selling these sticks.
Wow.
Individual. So I should have listened to my wife a lot earlier, which is true in a lot.
I think all of us can say that, right, Bob?
Absolutely, absolutely.
But at any rate, that just allowed me then, the scale of the models went from inches to feet, and from hundreds and thousands of matchsticks to tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of sticks. And up to the point I made a model of a steampunk locomotive that had over 1 million sticks in it.
You say that so casually.
Well, I know what 1 million is now.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And what
I mean, you're talking to us two guys who could barely put a plastic car model together, and you're doing this.
That's so true.
Well, and the other thing that kind of fascinates me, beginning about 10 years ago, I believe in 2013, I began saving the caps off gallon glue jars, and I have about 200. In the last 10 years, I've used about 230 gallons of glue, and that's all been put on with a little school glue bottle.
That's incredible.
That's a lot of glue to run through.
That is.
Through a little glue bottle.
That is.
Sure. So.
Well, hats off to Ripley's. How did you guys ever get hooked up together?
Well, a woman that I worked with, unbeknownst to me, sent some pictures and a story to Reminisce magazine, and so they did a little story on me in 1990. Well, Ripley's saw that and contacted me and immediately were interested in buying models from me. So initially in 1991, I sold them 10 models that I had already made.
Wow.
Well, that just grew into a working relationship, and they've been wonderful to work with.
So you've been working with Ripley's for 30 plus years now.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And they're like a very large entertainment company, and my particular models kind of fit their niche, because it's people see this, and it's one thing to think these are made out of mud or wood, but it's another thing to think, like, for example, the Back to the Future model has 750,000 matchsticks in it. And so, but it's that it's a perfect medium for me, because those matchsticks allow me to get the detail in, like all the inside of, I believe 7 of these buildings are complete inside.
Wow.
Schoolhouse has the desk, and the library, and
Well, I would have to say, Ripley's slogan, believe it or not, believe it, folks. Believe it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. We're going to wrap up this segment and check out another area.
Okay.
I hope you are enjoying this episode of Southeast Iowa Today with John and Bain. We're day tripping with Bob DeWitt at Matchstick Marvels in Gladbrook, Iowa. Here's another example of Patrick's work. Look at that eagle. It's incredible. So please, if you are enjoying this, make sure to like the episode, follow, and subscribe. Bob, thank you for pointing out to me that we can't leave this Back to the Future exhibit without looking inside
Absolutely.
the school. And Patrick's got the lights on. Let's just kind of zoom in here, folks, and see what the science class is doing. see the sinks? And that's one room. And you come over here and you've got desks. And this, Patrick did all this, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, Ripley's, believe it or not, believe it. It's real. Let me zoom out here so we get a better shot of that. That is all part of the Back to the Future diorama. And Patrick is beyond an artist. Do you recognize this building? It's Notre Dame. This is at Matchstick Marvels in Gladbrook, Iowa. Please make sure to like, follow, and subscribe. Just push that little like button and give this episode a like. Patrick, there's so much to see here at Matchstick Marvels here in Gladbrook, Iowa. And you're standing in front of what I just think is beautiful. It's the United States Capitol building.
Correct.
And the Smithsonian Institute should be reaching out to you and saying, we want this.
Well,
I don't want it to leave Iowa because it's just beautiful, but
I can guarantee you it's not going to leave Iowa.
good, good.
Yeah, I've had many offers for this model.
I bet so.
But no, actually, this is the museum here in Gladbrook opened in 2003, and right off the bat, this was a community project, and this particular model is one of 5 in here that at the point the museum opened, I gave to the city, no strings attached.
Wow.
And that was for the outpouring of support that the community gave us when we built the museum.
Well, it's justifiably so. I mean, this is just incredible. And what an incredible gift you have given to the city. I want to zoom in on this and just kind of move the camera's way around. But I want to remind everyone that these are matchsticks, people. What you're seeing here is just Patrick's work, replication of architecture that is so important and endearing to our nation. And like I said, I hope that the video camera is doing justice on this because it is just beautiful. Patrick, it's incredible.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, this building came about, my wife and I were actually visiting the Capitol, and before the Visitor Center was built, there was a retaining wall, and we were sitting in the shade cooling off. It's one of those 100-degree days in Washington. And we were looking at this building, and I told my wife, I have to have this. So we came home, and 2 years later, I had this finished. I built this. It took 2 years. At that time, I was still employed full-time professionally, so this was just a hobby.
Can you share with us what you did while you were...
My profession by trade, I actually have a degree in social work, and I worked for most of those years for a local community college district.
Okay.
And I was working with the jobs program, primarily working with dislocated workers, people that are being laid off, skills assessment, resume writing, that kind of thing.
Wow.
So I tell people, matchsticks are my therapy. I worked with people all day long, and
Yeah.
I'd come home and lock myself in my shop, and away I'd go. So.
Well, I don't know how it did on your psyche, but your production is amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, Bob, do you have any questions that you would like to ask, or
What's the dimensions of this?
The base that the Capitol's sitting on is about 12 and a half feet, 6 feet deep. My shop is tiny. It's in the
Okay.
basement of my house. It's tiny. I never saw this model. Several of these models I've made, I never saw together in my shop. I'd build pieces. They'd either be assembled here, or we'd clear out a basement family room, and I'd build the model in a separate room that had more room.
Now, do you have any pets?
Yeah, we've always had dogs.
And they don't come running through and knock things over?
No, and same thing with my kids. They were always somewhat interested, but they were totally hands off. None of them have Luckily, they're more like their mother. They're more cerebral than I am. I'm more visual. So not something that they were really interested in doing, but they were always very aware from without ever being told that this is something significant and hands-off.
Well, I mean, they could see it.
Yeah.
They could see it. I mean, that is amazing. There is so much here yet in this building. I don't want to show everything because I want to inspire people to come here.
Well, we'd love to have people here too. I'm proud. We've had people from all 50 states and many countries around the world here, and the comments usually are the same, and that's they marvel when they look. Thus the name.
It's got to be great for the community too.
It's been very good for the communities. You know, small rural Iowa communities, as we all know, especially those that are not on a major highway system, a four-lane highway system, they struggle. They struggle now, and it's nice to see tour buses on Main Street of Gladbrook, and then that people are smiling big time when they get back on the bus.
Yeah, I know. I've been smiling the whole time I'm here. One thing I want to ask you, can you give us a sneak peek of what you're currently working on as far as, telling us, not necessarily showing us? But...
Well, I'm going to make a model of the Disney castle. And that will sit on the floor here and go to the ceiling. So it's going to be a very large model.
And have you started that?
I have only 1 or 2 drawings done. I don't have any of the planning, don't have any of the design done, but I have glued up so far about, close to 500,000 sticks that will be used in the construction of that model.
I'll tell you, your work is quintessential American, quintessential Iowan. It's incredible. I'm getting chills right now just talking about it, but on behalf of Bob and I really want to thank you for showing us.
Thank you for giving us the time, and everybody's welcome here at Matchstick Marvels.
Bob, that was quite a tour.
Wasn't it? You have to see it in person.
You do. I want to thank Patrick again for having us here today, and I want to thank you for watching. And we've got those thank yous out of the way. Got to thank our sponsors: Griner Auto Body, Car Doctor, McDonald Boneyard, Hinshaw Trailer Sales, Girling Repair, B&B Propane and the family of Jet Stops, and Blue Dog Lawn Care. Bob, where are we going next?
That's a secret, but stay tuned.
All right, Day Trippin' with Bob DeWitt. I'm your host, John Bain. Stay friendly, Southeast Iowa.